Please leave your message for
Amos C. Brown.
Sorry, mailbox is full. To send an SMS notification, press 5.
What do you do, family? What you just heard is one of my many attempts that I made in order to try and get in contact with Reverend Amos Brown, as I said that I was going to do in the last video. I'm not so upset that I wasn't able to get in contact with them. Now that I know why, we'll go over that in a little bit. But I also want to note that there's a lot of things that have been coming out since my last video that gives us a little bit of insight on the thinking of the Reverend Amos Brown. And we're going to talk about that here today as well. So let's first and foremost start off by addressing him from now on as Katmala's Reverend. He either still is or was Katmala's pastor. So we're going to address him as such. He's Katmala's Reverend. But when I said that I'm not upset that I wasn't able to get into contact with the man, I mean that because I came to find out that several of our people in the Black grassroots was contacting this man so much that, and leaving so many messages that it shut down his message machine. And not just him, but several board members of the NAACP as well. I tried to contact the NAACP to get statements on their understanding and knowledge of the document memo that was sent out. And this is what I got.
Sorry, the mailbox is full and there is not enough space to leave a message. To send a message to another subscriber, enter the area code and phone number of that subscriber or press the star key to enter your own mailbox.
Shut down that message center too. Shut down that message center too. And I was actually able to get my hands on a couple of clips of some of the things that was discussed when some of the people within the Black grassroots were contacting these people. So I'm actually going to play a couple of clips. We're going to go through it. Now, Marcel Dixon, in case you don't know who he is, he's running for Congress. Go look him up. Go donate. He's a reparationist. Go look him up. Go make sure to do your research on him. Because this brother is out here and he's representing. So Marcel was able to get Mr. Brown on the phone. Katmala's Rev on the phone. And he was able to have a conversation with them.
Marcel Dixon, and I'm calling to express to you my outrage. I just read a letter saying that you are against $5 million for reparations for Black Americans.
No. We deserve more than $5 million.
Well, okay, we deserve at least $5 million then.
I want you to pay very, very, very close attention to how this man keep on saying, we deserve more than that. We deserve more than that. Put a pin in that, and we're going to get back to that a little bit later. But I just want you to really pay attention to what he's saying.
We deserve more than $5 million. That means you give us the $5 million, then you give us more than that. You don't deny that we're old. Black people are suffering. You are in a state where 15% of the whole homeless population are Black Americans, and you come out against direct cash payments? Are you serious?
Listen, no. You call me to get an answer. I'm not against it. It's that plus.
Now, family, we done been over this in the last video, but nowhere on that memo did it says in addition to the $5 million. It just says twice over, reject. We reject. We reject. We're asking that you reject. Reject. It don't say nothing about plus. It doesn't say in addition to.
So I'm reading the letter. Did you not write this letter?
I'm telling you about what I stand for.
Okay, well, if you stand for it, then you need to disavow this letter and say we deserve $5 million, we deserve $50 million, we deserve $60 million. You don't come out to us and invest in education. All that's going to do is keep us where we are. Affirmative action was a program that was supposed to help us, and white women are benefiting from it. My point is, when these programs are done, these programs never benefit us. We need cash, like Japanese got cash, like Native Americans are getting cash. We deserve the same thing.
Would you hear what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm listening.
Would you listen, please?
Yes, I am. Because you do deserve to speak, because obviously it's your words out there, so yes.
Let me say this to you. I do not believe in letting white folks, the white media, define us. We know our own worth. Okay? And for the media to have taken something that was a part of a reparations program and make that the only thing. It says the enemy is trying to play a game with us. We should speak for ourselves. And our position is for all the hell, the horror, the pain, the inhumane treatment that we received. We deserve more than $5 million. No price tag can be put on the evils of racism and enslavement.
There he goes again with that we deserve more. Make sure you keep that in your mind. Make sure that that's pinned, because we are going to get back to that. It's a very important part of what he's doing.
All right, so that's the first factor. Number two, when you have dealings with the political process, when you got to get resource for reparations, you got to be definite to scratch where the people have been injured, so to speak. And one basic thing is, number one, free health care for us.
Yep, this is where he jumps right back into those talking points, the same ones that it's kind of funny that, you know, the white supremacist says that we should get free education, health care, and blah, 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 too. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to it.
If you are sickest, and we are, with strokes, with heart trouble, with cancer, these toxic dumps of environmental sickness, physical sickness, mental sickness, you got to have money behind that for everybody.
This man just started babbling just to babble, and you got this sickness, but he ended off, if you notice, with you gotta have money for everybody. It's not supposed to be for everybody. It's not supposed to be for everybody. That's why if you give us our money, we can go and build hospitals and do our thing. We can build our infrastructures. See, this is what I'm talking about. This dude right here, his whole mindset is literally based on we need to work under white folk rather than we should build independently of white folk. But let's get back to what he got to say.
Free education. Number two, we require and we deserve the basic thing of education in our school. We do not have enough quality teachers. And that's a fact all over this country. Number three, they destroyed our watering hole, so to speak, like Fillmore. Through public policy, they did it. There's evidence. Through public policy. Japanese got Japantown. Chinese got Chinatown. The Latinx got the Mission, the Catholic Church. We deserve those places being rebuilt. In 1908, a black Baptist preacher named Allen Allensworth.
Yes, I know about Allenstown in California.
Yeah, whatever.
So here's my thing. Well, here's my thing then. What did Black Americans do right after slavery, between slavery and around the time between the 1940s? We took the little bit of money we had and we built Black Wall Streets. And those Black Wall Streets were destroyed. But the point of the matter is we took resources. If all the things you mentioned, I'm a teacher for 20 years. I live in South Carolina, one of the poorest states in the Union, one of the blackest states in America. I know very well about all the disparities we live. I've lived through them. I went to the lowest performing school in the state. I've lived in one of the poorest counties in South Carolina, majority Black. It's still a struggling county. And that's why I'm saying programs are not helping us. When I was growing up, they did program after program after program. And those programs were ran by the same people, ironically, who you are saying should do programs for us. Give us our research.
Wait a minute. I said plus.
Okay, so I'll take that back then. Well, let me just say, give us our money, and I'm not saying you, because obviously you're old too, because your chances are you're a descendant of American slavery, it seems like. So we deserve our money. We're owed it. Even if we were rich already, we still deserve it. But give us...
I didn't say we didn't deserve it. I didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that, but I'm not sure. I'm reading this memo here that says that we get...
You're talking with me.
Okay, well, the memo has your name on it and your contact information.
If you notice, Katmala's Rev, he tried to backtrack that when he was like, when Marcel was like, I'm reading his memo here. He tried to backtrack. Well, we're talking about me, as if he didn't directly have know of this memo, as if he don't sit as the president of that NAACP chapter, and as if he didn't write that himself. And if he didn't write that himself, we're going to get into a little bit of that in a little bit as well. If he didn't write it himself, he's going to have to let us know who wrote it, because from what the BGR is being told, not a lot of people had any knowledge of him putting out that memo. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's finish this off right now.
I speak for myself. Okay, I stand for myself.
Okay, well, I'm going to say, I'm responding to this memo and then talking to you.
Well, you're responding to it.
Okay, well.
You know what I'm saying.
Okay, your name is on it. Your name is on it as the representative. I can't take what Sean will say, but my point is, give us our money and we can build up our own Black Wall Streets. We can build up our own schools, our own hospitals. We can take care of each other better. I know you probably know this already, but it's been shown that when Black people, period, are served by white doctors, the level of malpractice goes through the roof. A a black officer is a black patient, it almost disappears. The point is, no one takes better care of us than us. The only type of people who don't take care of us are people, and I'm going to be very honest, Ms. Amos, are people in positions of power. Black preachers, black politicians. Y'all always selling us out. Y'all don't speak for a lot of black Americans.
Wait a minute. You're not gonna put that on Amos Brown. Let me tell you what Amos Brown has done.
Not a goddamn thing but ride the coattails of Dr. Martin Luther King your whole career. If you would have done anything, then the black Americans in your town wouldn't be in the position that they're in. They wouldn't have been pushed out of the town like they have been. Come on now. Come on, look at all the homeless that's out there in San Francisco, and the majority of them are black Americans.
I have been on the forefront of civil rights for 68 years from Jackson, Mississippi.
And that hasn't helped us any, Mr. Brown. I'm sorry. The civil rights movement did not help us. You know, you see things that got worse for us.
Would you listen? You listen to what I'm saying? I'm telling you what I do for black folks.
Ooh, he got heated when Marcel told him that the civil rights bullshit don't mean nothing nowadays. We on a whole new level, and we got a whole different code.
Well, right now, we need you to stand up for reparations. I'm going to be very honest. That cash payment, that's what we need.
Listen. I'm the one who introduced reparations to this board in 2019, while other folks around doing nothing.
Boy, for him being a reverend, he sure do sound more like that politician Jim Clyburn when we rolled up on him talking about reparations. Why y'all always fucking with me? I'm the one that wrote the damn bill. That's exactly who he sounds like. But it's important that he's saying what he's saying there, because I have information that we're going to read into. As soon as we're done with listening to this, we're going to read into why he started the reparations talk in 2019. But let's go.
Okay? So don't be telling me about what I should do.
Well, that's very good, then. That's really, really good.
Wait a minute. In addition to that, I have, through the grace of God, and this historic congregation that has been fighting for black folks since 1852. It was born on August the 1st, which was the anniversary of the abolition of slavery in the British West Indies. All right? It has been fighting racism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia, nationalism. And you check my record out. The point I'm making is this. We should not let white folks in a white press frame our issues. And this is what happened with this matter.
Well, listen, okay, I agree with you. I don't like white people being able to frame our issues either, but they can write that check. Don't you agree? If the white people want to say, here's the check, because this government owes us, and they're usually the ones in charge of the government, don't you agree? And I agree. There is no amount of money. No, hold on. I agree with the point you made. There is no amount of money that they can pay to ever address all the pain that we've been through, and we are still going through it. We're still going through these things. Because Frederick Douglass made the same point you said. Frederick Douglass said there's no amount of money that this nation could ever spend, and that was in the 1800s. It's only gotten worse since then. However, that means they can put something out on it. They probably will never be able to pay the full amount, but that means they should be able to pay as much as they can. That's what Frederick Douglass said. So, okay, Mr. I'm hearing straight from you. All I'm saying is the way whoever wrote this memo, not saying it was you or not, they wrote it in a way to make it seem as if the NAACP, not you, but the NAACP is saying, they don't need your money.
It's not. 5 million plus.
That works. You got that right. 5 million plus. Exactly. So I agree. So I'm just saying that, and I'm on social media, and you know, I think the social media, I'm reading the memo. I haven't even read people's comments, and the way the memo was written is making it seem as if people are being told that black Americans who are descendants of American slaves, we don't deserve any money, where other groups, because you already said it, you just told me.
No.
No, hold on, you just know, I'm agreeing with you. You just went through the history how the Japanese Americans, not only did they get money, they got property. They got their own little economic enclaves. The Chinese, and I know you know. You got it. You're right. I know you know the Chinese. They came here. They only finished the work that we had already started with the railroad, but they got paid. Not only did they get paid, the government gave them land and territory where that's today's their Chinatowns. You know, and we don't, hey, people talk about the Japanese, we forget the Koreans. The American government gave the Koreans the hair industry. They gave the Japanese the car making industry. Black Americans, all we got was terrorism, lynchings, and being told no niggers, no dogs, and doors closed our face, and our land being stolen. It goes on and on and on. And today, your children, grandchildren, we are living the impact of those things. That's why we're to the bottom and everything. So I'm not, and you know, I'm not saying this is you personally, but the way the secretary, whoever wrote this memo, it needs to be a clarification because it's a firestorm brewing out with people are saying, and I'm not saying you, there are some NAACP branches that do good work. And there are some, I know you know this because you probably dealt with some of them who don't do nothing. But if your branch, for what you say, sounds like one that does good work. All I'm saying is the way this memo is written is not saying what you're saying. You are saying that we deserve more than just a one-time payment. We deserve that and then some. I get you, and I agree with you. But the way the memo is written,
that's it. And then more.
Right. So I agree with you. There's no disagreement between us. But the way the memo is written, whoever wrote it, they need to clarify. I know you just put my horse in the mouth. Right, Mr. Brown, but people aren't going to call you, and when even people can be very, people get, you know, reparations is an emotional topic. I'm saying I would strongly suggest that the memo reflects more of what you are saying as the head, that hey, don't try to play these games. Don't try to make it seem like I'm against my people getting what we're owed. I'm saying we deserve that and then some. So that's my recommendation, because now that I heard from you, we agree. We agree. So, all right, Mr. Brown, thank you for your time.
All right, now that we gotten through that, like I said, shout out to Marcel for making that phone call, getting on the phone with them, and being able to hold his feet to the fire when it comes to the situation of reparations. Because a lot of people didn't know at the time, but he does sit on the board for, he does sit on the task force for California reparations, and as well as sit on the board for the San Francisco reparations. So his voice matters in the room, especially behind the closed doors. And it's very important that we hold people's feet to the fire when it comes to this topic, because this man is definitely a flip-flop. And when I say he's a flip-flop, he's a person that does things behind closed doors, and when he gets called out, he tried to basically hide his hand that he's thrown the stone with. But let's look at something that he said. A few things that he said. First, let's look at this.
Reading this memo here that says that you're talking with me. Okay, well, the memo has your name on it and your contact information.
So Cop Mala's Rev tried to make it seem like his personal opinion is different from the opinion in the memo. When this next clip plays, you'll be able to see for yourself how, you know, it appears that a lot of people on the same board didn't even have any knowledge of him releasing that memo.
Okay, Battle Keith, go ahead, and we'll come to you, Dr. We'll work you in.
Hey, Marcel, how's everybody doing, to the co-host and everybody? I just wanted to bring another aspect to this because you actually got Amos on the line, and that is fantastic. On the other side of that, Sir Major and his team of folks, excuse me, had been working at getting everybody that was on that board, I guess the NAACP board or whatever, the local chapter, and he was able to get the majority of them. The communications person pointed out that she was unaware of it. She was wondering why she was getting calls from the press, and it was Sir Major's call that informed her on what was going on. Out of all of that, they have called an emergency meeting tonight regarding this letter or this press release that went out today, and they are supposed to be getting back with him as to the outcome of what that meeting was. So. Several of them. I mean, like, high level. I think one lady, she was the treasurer. She was out for like 3 months. She had no clue. A lot of these people found out when the press release hit the press, and it was hit the news, and that's how a lot of them found out. And then he called right behind that press release. So they are supposed to be doing a revised press release statement in addition to that as well too, and a lot of the members are calling for this Amos guy to step down as well too. So both sides are doing a lot of work, and it was just amazing to see. So I just wanted to bring some context to your side as well as Sir Major's side, so that you guys can know what's going on both sides. So that's it.
So yes,
Well,
right, Shadow, and around, I would say around like almost 5 o'clock, when the conversation took place with the press lady, she said, I didn't even know, and then somebody emailed it to me, and so I'm looking and I was trying to read, but I do thank God that she did actually call back, or the conversation actually happened. So just to reiterate what he said, the other people around him had no idea, and they all were shocked. And one of the elders that he spoke to, I think she was the secretary. She was
Yeah.
upset. He was just like, well, you need to join your local, you need to join your local NAACP and all this. And what do you know? And it was a trip. And so,
Yeah, and you're right, because she was saying certain keywords that
right,
kind of stuck out, where she said, well, they know they're not supposed to be speaking out like that, and you should be joining. And after the call, we was like, oh, they're all on code to not say stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So when you join, just FYI, you're not supposed to speak out on the things that you see go on within the organization, because they make it very known that there's a hierarchy or a protocol that you need to file as a quote unquote member.
Did you get that? The NAACP is on code. You should go and join your local chapter so you could get put on code. And we wonder why nothing ever gets done.
So she got real defiant when he was bringing up these various talking points, and she basically was trying to shut him down. And the only way that she could do that was to tell him to join as a member, because as a member, they can silence you, because she said it.
and she also said she didn't know. At the
Yeah, and
very
she
top
also
of
said
the
she didn't know.
you know what?
conversation, she
Yes.
didn't know.
So what we're being told is most of folks didn't know what was going on. This man acting on his own will. And you know that they were pissed the hell off, right? That's why they were really snappy at everyone, because they're getting blindsided by the dumb stuff that this man that went and done without any of their knowledge. So now they got to deal with the backlash of it. And they're even talking about they wanted him to step down. So if none of those folks did it, if your secretary wrote this memo, if the board secretary did not write this memo, then I must submit a question. Who in the hell wrote the memo? If he says, we're talking about me, we're talking about my stance, well, if that's your stance, if your stance is 5 million plus, if your stance is
5 million plus.
then you need to tell us who in the hell stance it is that's in that memo. Whose stance is that? If your stance is 5 million plus, who's responsible for the memo? Because nothing leaves that office without passing your desk. So tell us, who is responsible for that memo? unless you don't believe in the 5 million plus. Unless you don't believe in the 5 million plus. But leave it to you. In your exact words, you say,
listen. I'm the one who introduced reparations to this board 2019, while other folks around farting doing nothing. Okay? So don't be telling me about what I should do.
So it seems Kamala's Rev have been trying since 2019 to actually get the city to donate the Fillmore Heritage Center to a nonprofit that is black owned, because they said it should be a black owned institution. And they're trying to get, and he's been trying to get the city to give that nonprofit the center under the guise of a form of reparations. So this is why he sits on the board. This is why he's talking about, I've been pushing for reparations since 2019. Yeah, because he's been pushing for that center to be given to a certain nonprofit since 2019 as a form of reparations. So cash reparations has never really been on his mind. His form of reparations has been that community center that he's speaking of. But also, here's my final say on why I feel that Rev Flip Flop, which his new name will be deemed, Rev Flip Flop, he's Kamala's Rev Flip Flop, he's sick in the head, Rev Flip Flop. But anyway, here's another reason why I feel that this Reverend Amos Brown is nothing but a flip-flop and a coon. The Mogadam Nation actually spoke with Reverend Brown as well, and in his article, he actually stated something that's contrary to what he spoke when he was speaking to Marcel. And he said, I want you to see how his two statements are basically conflicting to each other, right? We just spoke with Dr. Amos Brown to clarify the San Francisco NAACP's press release. He is not against direct cash payments, but want that and more. Now watch how this one is directly an oxymoron to the second one. He doesn't want to set Black Americans up for failure and says we need realistic proposals. 5 million is an unrealistic number. So how do you say you want that and then some, but then you say $5 million is an unrealistic number? So you tell Marcel 5 million plus, and then you turn around and tell the Mogadam Nation 5 million is an unrealistic number. So which one is it? This man is a flip-flop. This man is a coon. He spoke about the infrastructure bill because he is Kamala's reverend. So of course he's in bed with the DNC. Of course he's in bed with the DNC. He spoke about education because that's the whole talking point of white supremacy when we speak about reparations. Well, we feel reparations should be education. You should be able to go to college anywhere in the country. And he speaks about healthcare because that's literally something that applies to old folks older over a certain age. So that's something definitely in his bracket. He's going to speak about healthcare. But none of that stuff matters. You know why none of that stuff matters? Because with reparations, we can handle all of that stuff. We can handle all that stuff. This man's talking about how $5 million is an unrealistic number to one side, while he's coming to us and telling us that it's 5 million plus. It's 5 million plus.
5 million plus.
So at the end of the day, family, we literally holding these folks' feet to the fire. The black grassroots is out here and we holding their feet to the fire. This person shows himself to be a flip-flop, a coon, and we out here calling it out. And all we got to do is continue to call it out. Continue to call out the fact that we know that they don't work for us, and we know that they know that we know that they don't work for us. And we're going to keep holding their feet to the fire until they burn up. Period, point and blank. And that's what it is. We stay on code when they're off code. And we're going to make things happen when they're trying to hold the status quo in place. Let me give a shout out to all my new subscribers. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. Because this movement isn't for everybody. But the facts will be facts, and the real will recognize the real when we are talking, when we're speaking. We know what's real and we know what isn't. We can hear it. We can hear it, and that's why every time this man try to sit here and backtrack and all talk all this little we shall overcome crap, the real is like, nah, none of that, homie. We ain't dealing with none of that. We ain't dealing with none of that. Either you for us or you against us. The line in the sand has been drawn. You done picked your side. Now live with the side that you chose to be on. And just a little announcement for my patrons. I am aware that my last video as well as this video is not on Patreon. And due to some technical difficulties, I have spoke with the tech team. Luckily, I have not been banned. They are trying to fix it. And they said give them until about Wednesday. As I record this, is Monday. So give them until about Wednesday. But by then, this video will already be up on the YouTube. So what I'm going to end up doing is, once that situation is fixed, I'm going to post both of the videos, this one and the prior video to this. And then I'm also going to post a special video just for the Patreons that won't be released until sometime next week on the YouTube. So I want to give everybody a shout out, like I said, for my new subs. And like, comment, share. If you're new, subscribe. And the doors of the church is now closed. Oh, yeah. And do you think Reverend Flip Flop contacted the NAACP and said, hey, don't give us $50 million. Give us some programs instead. Hell no. He ain't turned down nothing but his collar.